Hello, on behalf of Montega, welcome to today's investor call of IuteCredit Europe regarding the public offering of Euro 2021-2026 bond, as well as the exchange offer for Euro bond 2019-2023. The CEO Tamo Sild and CFO Christel Kurvitas will give you a presentation in a moment. Afterwards, there will be enough time for our Q&A session. Questions can then be asked by audio line or chat. We are looking forward, and I hand over to Tamo.
Thank you very much, Fleur. Good morning, everybody. It's so pleasant to be with you and talk again to the camera eye, thinking that there are many investors behind who are participating in this call or maybe watching it afterwards. I would like to structure today's presentation in a few very simple parts. First part is about the transaction, what is on your table to take it or to leave it. The second part is a brief look at how IuteCredit has been performing and what are the key elements in our business model which enable us to make money and also make money for our investors. And then I will really come back to the initial part which Fleur promised, which is the questions and answers, because probably it's, I would say, very interesting times around us. And I think there are many interesting discussion points which you may want to raise or just continue developing based on the presentation that you are about to hear. So first about the transaction on table. We are refinancing our 2019-2023 bonds, and we in this context are offering through our banking syndicate two options. For the investors who have existing 2019-2023 bonds, they have the option to exchange their bonds into our 21-26 bonds, which has a lower coupon, but because of the exchange offer, the effective yield of the swap, if it's taken place, will be for investors more than 12.5%. And for new investors, we invite them to join by subscribing the 2021-26 bonds at a discount to the effect that the yield to maturity will be above 12% per annum. This is the offer, and as a result of this, we would expect the total outstanding bond, which is maturing will mature in October 26. We expect it to be up to 125 million euros. The bond will continue to be listed on Frankfurt Stock Exchange Main List and also Nasdaq Baltic Main List. So this is the offer for the ones who need to make up their mind on swap. The deadline, depending on the bank, I think, is on up until 24th of March. Or maybe I have some information in some bank, the exchange offer in internet bank is available up until today, yes, but maybe not tomorrow. And for the new bondholder subscriptions, the deadline is 31st of March. Okay, so this is a transaction. Put your money into Iute for up to 3.5 years, and yield to maturity is more than 12%. Now, the next question is, what is the company and how has it been doing? And here, actually, I think that most of today's call's participants know about Iute and have some track record with us, either some money-making track record or just informational track record. You have been following us. But still, to go through the main points. The main point in our business is to lend money to customers in shops, in post offices, through our own ATM network. In shops, we lend money by making the payment to the merchant, and the customer leaves the shop with acquired goods and repays the loan to us in installments. We pay the loan amount to the merchant. Merchant gives the customer the refrigerator. Customer walks away with the refrigerator and pays to us in installments. And the other option is typical money loan, where we credit the customer's bank account, or more often than not. We just credit the customer's MasterCard, or we enable the customer to take the money out in the cash form through our own ATM network. We have our own ATM network, which works cardless with our own MyIute app. So IuteCredit is built around MyIute app. It's a small digital ecosystem which enables different financial services, starting from lending, but we are also progressing very quickly into the wallet business. So we enable our customers to make payments with us, either using cards or just using the app, and we do account-to-account peer-to-peer payments. So the single most important number for us is that we have 293,000 customers who pay us. So in the context of overall capital markets and maybe the uncertainties related to what is happening with some major banks on the other side of Atlantic or on this side, or what is happening to the government bonds, which have been sold at a premium up until recent times, but when the central bank started to increase their interest rates, then the price of bonds went down, and somebody is suffering big losses somewhere. I would like to put our business clearly apart from these kind of problems, and I would like you to visualize the cash flow. Where is the money going to, and where is the money coming from? The money which is put in by bondholders first lands at the treasury of Iute Group. Then it has been distributed to the subsidiaries in different Balkan countries. Our business is in Balkan countries with the names Albania, Macedonia, Bulgaria, Bosnia, and Moldova. And then from the subsidiaries in the Balkan countries, individual customers already withdraw it in the form of loans. And today there are 293,000 people who have a position with Iute Group. Some of them are also bank customers. If we talk pure IuteCredit loan customers, then the number is somewhere around 220,000. So you can visualize yourself 220,000 people, individual people. They have names, they have lives, they have monthly incomes. Typically, their monthly income, the benchmark number is about 500 euros a month. Of course, there are people who make significantly more. There are some people who make a bit less, but 500 is pretty representative mean number per month. Those customers are perfectly able to make a monthly repayment of 50 to 60 euros. With this 50 to 60 euros monthly repayment, they can have a loan of anything between 500 to 1,000 euros at an APR of anything between 25 to 55%, but the average is about 47%. They cannot afford to cash out, to pay out immediately 500 or 1,000 euros. They don't have it, but they are able to make a monthly repayment of 50 euros. And that's how the business works. In a very simplified manner, if you take 500 euros for 12 months as a loan, and if you repay 50 euros per month, then your total repayment is 600 euros, and the APR is close to 50%. That's how the business works. So there are 293,000 people from who the money is coming. Those people have been chosen by us through a digitalized process and built on very extensive database. Because in our database, we have close to 1 million customers who we know by name and by some other very individual data, which of course remains confidential, but which is subject to data processing and our own decision-making algorithms. So 293,000 people paying money to IuteCredit for the services that we provide them. And that money then also moves back to our bond investors from subsidiaries as loan repayments and interest payments to the group treasury, and from group treasury to the bond settlement agent, who then distributes it through the different banks, custodian banks, to the bondholders as interest and eventually also as redemption. That's how it works, and this is pretty different from what you might experience as a trouble on the overall capital markets here and there. And I think this is our key strength. Our strength is our customers we have chosen. Now, to move on, I think the second most important number, I skip our value streams, how we make money. We make money with loans, we make money with payments, and we also recently started to make money with insurance brokerage. I slide over this and I jump immediately into the price of money that we lend out. Our average annualized percentage rate of the loans that IuteCredit issues, or where the bondholders' money is eventually channeled into, is 47%. So among the big amount of different information about legal, compliance, geopolitics, operational costs, default risks, etc., the two starting numbers which make the business go are the price of money that the customers pay for the loans. And here the ballpark number is 47. And the price of the capital that IuteCredit pays its investors. And that, by the offer on table, is more than 12% per year. And in between, there is also space to cover the credit losses, to cover different types of risks, and to cover the operating expenses. With this model, we have built a group which has a balance sheet today of 320 million, actually succeeding, we are growing. But based on the data of December 31st last year, it was 322 million euros. But it has been growing. And it has been profitable since its inception. Actually, it's if I tell it now, I feel quite proud that we have been profitable since our inception back in 2008. And we are profitable with each different loan product. We are also profitable with our payment services. And I think it is a reason to be proud of. It means that we are not counting the runways like startup companies. And we are also prepared for different future scenarios, also negative scenarios. And we have seen also risk realized in the past. We have seen the currency risk realized in the past. We have seen the country risk realized in the past. We have also seen different fraud types. So I would say that we are pretty experienced, not to say that we know on the crystal ball what will be on planet Earth over the next 3 to 5 years, or even during the upcoming summer. But I think that we have built a very resilient and very aware business. I skip the part which shows our growth throughout the years, starting from 2008. And I would actually now go over to one question which has been asked by many investors. And this is the question about Moldova. The question about Moldova, which perhaps also many of you would like to ask today, is that what is the risk of losing money in Moldova, and what is the consequence if something very bad happens in Moldova because there is war in Ukraine? And I always prefer to address the fears in a very straightforward manner, and I would immediately look into the darkest corner of our minds. I think the worst possible outcome that one could imagine is a scenario which Estonia went through in 1940, when it was occupied by Soviet Russia, called Soviet Union at the time. And of course, all the businesses of the bad capitalists were nationalized and expropriated. If we take this scenario as a theoretical scenario, and I am not yet discussing its probability, I'm just looking at what if this happens. Moldova is occupied and foreign properties are going to be nationalized, expropriated, or just stolen. In that case, if you look at the operational footprint slide number 15, you see that IuteCredit Moldova net loan portfolio is worth 52 million euros. Whereas the net loan portfolios of Albania business, North Macedonia business, Bulgaria and Bosnia and Herzegovina, they in total, if you add up the numbers, are worth about 92 million euros. And I should also add here that there has been growth in some of the countries I just mentioned to you. But let's take those numbers as the basis. So we have a net loan portfolio which is about 145 million euros. And we have debt to bondholders who have senior secured claim against IuteCredit, who have the pledge claim against all portfolios of 125 million euros. Net loan portfolio 145, debt 125. And now let's play, well, it's not maybe politically correct, but I am what I am. Let's play that Russians come and take everything in Moldova. They just take it. In that case, we are left with 92 million euros of performing assets in 4 countries, and we have a debt of 125. So, and then we can theorize what will be the outcome and what will be the will of majority of the bondholders. Will they call the bond in default? And would they like to realize the remaining portfolios? And then have a 92 million euros versus the 125 million outstanding, which is roughly about 82 cents per euro. Or will they let the business to continue because Albania, Macedonia are profit-making businesses, and so will Bulgaria be? I think this is the worst scenario, which you have to compare to the upside scenario that the bond is yielding 12% per year. Now, if we would discuss this scenario also from the viewpoint of how realistic it is, then our own thinking is that in order to occupy Moldova, Russia must first occupy a critical part of Ukraine, which enables land connection to Moldova. We haven't seen this happening, and it seems to us here in Tallinn that this is very unlikely course of events. Essentially, it means that Russians must take Odessa. And even then, it doesn't automatically mean that they turn over the Moldovan government. Really, I do apologize if some people think that this is insensitive to talk these kind of terrible, terrible scenarios which affect many people's lives in such a light manner. I am not light about it. I'm just addressing the thing as I see it, and as some of us certainly have concerns about. So the next part is to turn over Moldova and also to start nationalizing. Without winning Ukraine, we do not see this scenario happening because Moldova has been a buffer state, pendling between East and West throughout its gaining its independence in 1991. When we started Iute in Moldova back in 2008, our president in Moldova by party affiliation was a communist. And we could also see him standing next to President Putin in Kremlin. So what I'm saying, we have seen Moldova going through the pendulum between East and West constantly. But we are also seeing how the country is aging more and more towards the West, more towards European Union. I would think that we will see Moldova as member of European Union, and the time today is the time of opportunity. But having said that, I am also able to put the blackest scenario on table, and at least by my calculation, the prospect of having 82 cents against the euro is not that bad against the prospect of making 12% per year. Okay, so this was I think the most depressing part of the presentation, and we can now also look at how the customers are actually repaying us, how they have been repaying to us. And here I would turn over to the slide which is showing our customer performance index. It's the ratio between the money that we expect customers to repay us because they have signed loan repayment schedules and what they actually have been repaying to us. This is very important because, as I already explained in the beginning, the repayments is the core of the business. If people repay, then we are able to serve our costs and also to pay money to investors and also to the shareholders. So it's a crucial number, and as you see, perhaps even to some surprise or against prejudice, you see that the CPI has been improving during the past 2 years, and also actually we don't see any significant decline or worsening during the ongoing quarter, which means that more than 90% of the repayments which have been scheduled are made on time or within the time delay which is within our tolerance limits. Our tolerance limit is 30 days. So the repayment discipline has been good, has been strong throughout the times of Corona, but you also see Corona blip here between 2019, 20 and 2020, and you also see the increase, steady increase since 2020. This is important. And second part, when we talk about default, because there are only two ways how to lose money. One is that customers don't repay on time, so you also miss your fees. And the other major way to lose money is when loans default and they are never ever repaid. So let's look at this picture as well. What happens with the loans that default? Our default deadline is 50 days from due repayment date. So customer has 50 days from repayment date to make the repayment, or alternatively seek contact with us and sign a rescheduled loan agreement, and to which we can sometimes agree if we see that the customer has objective reasons and we don't want to let anybody into default willingly. We always try to find a solution. But nevertheless, if the customer truly is broke and defaults, or is negligent and defaults, what happens? We measure it with DPI, the defaulted performance index, which is, and again, a ratio. It's the ratio of the defaulted principal amount versus the actual collected cash amount within certain time frame. The particular DPI that is displayed to you here is DPI 180. Essentially, it shows how much money we collect within 6 months from the default as percentage from the defaulted principal amount. Up until the war, we had DPI about 40%. When the war started, it can be coincidence, but you actually see that since March 2022, the DPI, first time in our history, fell clearly below 40 and has been there between 40 and 30, dancing or fluctuating around 35 since then. What happened in March last year, clearly there was war. Maybe war is not directly affecting our customers, but the inflation is affecting our customers. And the inflation caused by the pricing of energy clearly has affected. And essentially what this graph tells us is that together with stronger inflation, if customers already break, if they are broke, then they are broke on every front, including the front of making the repayments of the loans they are defaulted on. And the chance of getting money back within 180 days, or the effective amount that you get back within 180 days with IuteCredit, with our technology process and with our approach to customers, has meant for us about 5 percentage points decline. Historically, we recovered 40%. Now we recover about 35%. So that's the second negative or aspect of concern that I could bring out in our overall business model. But to jump back to this beginning, which I said, we have customers and we have strong performing customers, hundreds of thousands of them, chosen by us. And this is what makes the money rolling and also generates money. And this is what sets us apart from the government bonds or the issues of banks who have bought the government bonds with a premium and are now struggling if depositors want their money. And second key element is the price of loans that we give to customers and the cost of capital, which so far has been sufficient as a difference to keep the bondholders happy and also to keep our own team happy, enable us to continue development, technology development, because the company is still heavily investing into future technologies, and also to make strong equity gains. Inside Iute Group, out of the about 320 million euros balance sheet, there is 56 million euros equity. So between the bondholders' money and different kind of risks, how to lose this money, is 56 million euros. And I think I know personally all the owners of this 56 million. And to the extent I know them, they are very, very strongly interested in keeping their money safe and growing. And they very clearly understand that in order to achieve it, the whole business has to deliver. And those people are very strongly on the bondholders' side. So with this, actually, I would like to conclude. The offer on table is very good. The dime is making tick-tock, tick-tock. And I would like now to pass the floor back to you, and maybe you have some questions, please.
Thank you very much, Tamo and Crystal, for the detailed presentation. We will now move over to the Q&A session. Questions can be asked by audio line. Please raise your virtual hand if you would like to ask your question by audio line, or place them in the chat. And we already received a few questions via chat, and I would start with the first one. What are future synergies between IuteCredit and Energy Bank recently acquired by Iute?
The key synergy is that as Iute Group, we want the customers offer also the wallet services, the payment services. We want our customers in every country to receive their salaries at account which they keep with us, and also then spend their incomes and possibly have a credit to the account from the account that they have with us. So that's the key synergy. We are creating one whole ecosystem to our customers. And may I also say that together with banks getting awake to the microfinance sector and understanding that there is significant opportunity, we also see that the banks consider IuteCredit customers as very good customers who are worth of acquisition for them. So there is, I think, competition for the customers who we have chosen and who today serve us. To keep our competitive edge in this competition, we need to be or have a bank inside our group by ourselves. It doesn't always have to be bank. It can also be an electronic money institution, an institution through which all the customer money flows, and where all the data about customers' income and cash flows is kept.
Okay, thank you very much. And could you explain your plan B if only 20% of the bonds are exchanged? What options do you have other than maturity extensions? What can you pay back from the 2023 bonds?
When we issued the 2019-2023 bond, then we issued it with the knowledge that we have to redeem it in full. And inside the IuteCredit Group, the assets are shorter than the liabilities. And the assets are yielding more than the liabilities cost. So if you put those things together, then the baseline scenario is that the 2023 bond has to be redeemed on August 7, and we are ready for this.
Okay, thank you very much. And another question regarding your business in Bosnia. What are your plans for 2023? Are you closing your business or planning to re-engineering your products in order to adapt to regulatory requirements?
We are right now in the middle of adaptation of the regulatory environment, and it is too early to say. We clearly are not accelerating right now, and we clearly are looking for ways how to build a sustainable and digitalized business. I do not think that Iute wants to be engaged in non-digital business.
Okay, thank you very much. And another question regarding invest in a new bond. When the actual market price is below 90%, could you explain why to invest in a new bond?
My first answer is immediately that if somebody sells the bond below 90, I would buy it. I'm not sure how much of this bond is available. If I look at the transactional volumes, the bond has been trading, the turnover of last year of our bonds was more than 30 million euros, by my knowledge. And I don't think that this 30 million has been traded at 90 or anything near 90.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a quick reminder, if you have questions, you can place them in the chat or raise your virtual hand. And we received another question. What are future growth drivers apart from Moldova operations? Which countries are main target?
I think that we should add at least one country to our portfolio. There are a few countries left in the Balkan region where one could start business. We have chosen one of them. I am not disclosing it right now what it is. The preparations are on the way. Clearly, if we speak the same time next year, you can ask the question and perhaps even ask what are your targets in this country, in this particular country for this year, 2024, because by that time you already know what this country is. So clearly adding one country is one growth source of growth. The second source of growth is by adding the layer of wallet services to Iute customers across all our countries, not only in Moldova where we have the bank, or only in Albania where we have already launched the payment institution, but also in other countries. And I also think that we have a few more ideas as to the directions where to grow, but if you excuse me my shyness, I really don't want to say them out publicly.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, right now it seems that there are no further questions. I would say if there are still questions, you can use the opportunity to place them in the chat or raise your virtual hand. I would say we wait another few seconds or minutes to see if someone is just typing. So yeah, is there maybe something you would like to add, Tarmo?
Well, I clearly wish everybody happy ongoing week and happy last week of March, and enjoy the ride and make money and make some money with us.
Okay, thank you very much. I would then close the call for today because there are no further questions coming. Thank you.
Thank you.